Hey, everybody, this is Casey, and we're hanging out on the Wall to Wall Country Show here with you on this Wednesday. And keeping up, of course, what we do in the second hour of each and every show is have a very special guest on board. And so excited to have a gentleman who has been getting some serious recognition, came my way through actually a local event here, and now is kind of fulfilling that dream of getting out there and doing some entertainment in the country music industry. So excited and honored to have on board Mr. Brandon Maddox. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you, Casey?
I am awesome. Hey, we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to chat with us here a little bit and hang out and learn a little bit about you and your music and things along that line. But let's back up just a little bit as far as letting people know who you are, where you hail from, and you know, all of that about Brandon Maddox. Let's find out a little bit more about him. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little background about where you hail from and how you got to where you're at right now?
Okay, well, I'll try to condense this down as much as I can. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee area, so I'm not far from Nashville where I live now. And when I was growing up in Chattanooga, music was always a passion of mine. I started singing about age 3 or 4, just singing songs I learned in school, etc. By age 10, 11, I decided I wanted to play the guitar and start learning to do that. And so I grabbed a old guitar, a classical guitar, out of my grandfather's woodshed, and it had a crack in it. And I picked it up, restrung it, and it still sounded really bad. It was, an old guitar, and it rattled when you played it. It was just really, really not very appetizing to the ear. And but I learned on that, and my dad said, if you stick with this thing on that, we'll get you a better guitar. So I kept at it, kept playing. I learned songs within a couple of months on that guitar. I taught myself how to play. I didn't have any lessons. I taught myself out of old Beatles books because
nice.
Dad liked a lot of oldies, and so he had this Beatles book, and I looked at the guitar chord charts and taught myself how to play at age 11 or 12. And then not too long after that, started writing my first songs, and that was about age 12. I wrote my first song. That was because Lennon and McCartney of the Beatles wrote all their songs, and I wanted to be like them. So I just kept writing songs, haven't stopped since, and moved into country music from that. Just you evolve as you go through being a musician and being an artist, what you like and what you gravitate towards. And I just soaked in all the styles, and if anything moved me, that's what I went in the direction of.
Nice. So how did you, now you're living in Nashville now?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been here a few years now. Moved here to just write songs for other people, but now in the past few years, what made me get out and tour, and why you're even talking to me now, is because the music industry changed drastically. It turned into one where you couldn't get songs recorded by other acts as easily. So I made it my mission, after I'd written hundreds of songs, that if I was going to get these songs heard by the world, I was going to have to take them there myself. So that's what made me become an artist and want to do this. Not only songs for other people, but for me as well.
You've got some interesting things in your repertoire, though. Before you turned into upfront artist, you actually have some interesting thing, and I'm curious about this because it's one of the things that I guess it's on my bucket list, even though it shouldn't be that big of a challenge. But I love trucks and Jeeps. I had a big Dodge. I have a Jeep. I like anything that's standard. I like things that can drive over other objects. And you've got an association with monster trucks and the Monster Truck Nationals from a few years back. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. So in 2013, it was around August of 2013, I believe, that a guy who had produced my first 2 albums, Reba McEntire's keyboard player and band leader, who I was connected through via my dad, who went to school with him back in the 60s, and now he's gone on to play for Reba. He called me up one day and he said, "There's this opportunity to be the monster truck artist and open for the trucks to come out." He said, there's been some bands considered for this role, but I feel like that you could really fill this role nicely, and it would be right up your alley. So me and him got together, and we recorded a track, and I co-wrote it with a guy out of Chicago, and his name's Danny Kravitz. And so Danny and I wrote this track called The Bigger the Wheels, the Better the Man.
Mm-hmm.
I laid it down on the vocal, and it was sent into Monster Truck, and they ended up choosing me to be the artist to sing it, performing around the country. And so I performed at 9 different Monster Truck events. There was like 11 or 12 of them, but, the ones that I really wanted to hit, I did, and I did most of them they had. But we went everywhere from Sioux City, Iowa to Corbin, Kentucky, and lots of places in between.
Nice. And now there's a video for that as well, of that song, the bigger the wheels, the better the man.
That's right. It's up there on YouTube, so just go check it out. It was such a cool experience. 3,000 to 5,000 people, arena shows with Monster Truck, and there was I could go into some more detail about that. I don't know how much time we have, but it was just quite a crazy experience.
I'm sure it was. Did you get to drive any of the big trucks, like, Gravedigger or any of those?
Yeah, I got to drive the Raminator a little bit. We got to be friends with the Raminator driver, who's now 3-time world champ in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Wow.
We were friends with Mark Hall of the Raminator, and it's cool because we got to visit their shop up in Illinois when we were passing through one, and it was so cool. And it was just me and my wife who was doing all this. I didn't have a band, and it was just her and me. She was running the merchandise table, and I was performing and singing along. I had a few songs from the albums that were background tracks, and I played and sang along to the background track up there because I had 4 different bands who were supposed to do it, and because there was no money in it, they decided to go different ways. I don't blame them, but they went their different ways and decided not to do the tour with me. So that was tough, but we forged on through it with the tracks, got through the series, and lots of fans were made during those shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's serious recognition, and those big old country boys there hanging out watching those big trucks. So you got quite the audience, kind of a captured audience right there when you're being able to perform in front of those kind of folks.
Yes, at one show we were lined up way on out into the arena, and we sold 60 sets of CDs, which is about 120 CDs.
Wow!
So we had quite a bit of action on that. That was at the Shot and Scene Center in Columbus, Ohio, where that was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when did you write? You wrote the song before you actually did the experience. And presented it to the people there. Did you shoot the video before the experience or after the experience?
Yeah, before the experience, it was all promotional, promotional video.
Okay.
I had management at the time that they did a low budget, video of that thing. They shot some things, and they did this on a shoestring, but it turned out to be a really good representation. People still love the video, though it was done on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But we got together some monster trucks from around Nashville area, went out to a location and shot it, and just had a good time doing it. Back right before we went on tour with Monster Truck.
Well, that's cool. Get a little down and dirty.
That's right. That's what we did.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know what, Brandon? I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and play that song real quick for our listening audience and have them give a listen to this particular song. Do you have a few more minutes to hang in there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll just play this, and if people want to check out the video, they can go to your website or search you on Google. But it's really easy. It's just Brandon Maddox music.com, and that's Maddox. And check out the video if they want. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to play the song and have a little fun with that, and then we'll come back and talk about some of your newer projects that you have going on. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds great to me.
All right, Brandon, why don't you go ahead and introduce your Big Wheels mud trucking song there?
All right. This is The Bigger the Wheels, the Better the Man.
And back there, you heard a song from Mr. Brandon Maddox. Remember, check this guy out. It's BrandonMaddoxMusic.com is his website if you want to actually watch the video for this. But the bigger the wheels, the better the man. I like it. I'm a big truck girl. I got the truck and the Jeep and driving in the mud. It's a lot of fun. Are you finding girls are kind of swooning over that song? You know, big bad guy driving a big muddy truck.
Oh yeah. There's been some swooners, that's for sure. It's really cool to have that. They're like, oh, take me out in your truck, you know, and it's really cool to just. I mean, they'll hit me up on Facebook and all that. Yeah, they're definitely liking it.
And the wife's cool with all that. She understands that.
She does. It's good to have a wife that understands because they're, you know, when you're out there doing stuff, you'll get all kinds of comments, and she has to put up with that,
right?
Or at least be understanding of it, and it happens a lot. So she got, you know, last night some lady was on Facebook Live, and she said, "Oh, he's got such a beautiful smile," and I didn't even know that she had said this because she was filming. My wife was filming the Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. She said, "Yeah, there was this lady that said that, and it was all that I could do not to say, yeah, that's why I chose him as my husband." So.
Oh, that's cute, though. That's good. I mean, she's just, you know, it's business. So, you know, and that's what's going to put the food on the table is being able to produce for your fans and your fans to like your music and buy your music. So it's business. You know, you got to kind of keep that in mind, even though you probably do have a cute smile. So.
That's right.
So, and that's kind of come a little bit forward in time now, Brandon, and tell us about one of your more recent projects and your more recent music.
Yeah, actually, there's a song that hit radio this week. It's called Dixie Chaser, and it's gone out to hundreds of radio stations nationwide. And that hopefully will be a good little push in the right direction with this next year in 2017. We're pretty excited about it.
Okay.
Wrote that back in 2011 with my friend Dan. He comes up from Louisiana. Dan and I wrote that. So I knew when I wrote it that it was going to be something I would eventually record and put out there. Mm-hmm. And so when I was doing my last project, I made sure that I put it on there. The last project was called Living on Sunshine.
Right.
And it was recorded in 2015. Living on Sunshine's title track, and when I put up the CD online, I said, recorded Living on Sunshine, there was a song plugger, a guy who gets the song recorded with different artists out there, takes it to the artist as the middleman. And that guy who had that saw that I'd put up there on Facebook that I'd recorded that song Living on Sunshine from my album. And he said, well, I just wanted to let you know that also another artist has recorded that song too, Living on Sunshine, that you wrote, that's out in Texas. And his name's Curtis Braley, and he's made it a single. So I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, I wasn't mad or anything. It's all good, you know.
Yeah.
More power to and more power to be, you know. So anybody wanted to cut something, sure, absolutely. But that's the way it happens a lot of times in the business is that, you know, you don't know that your song has been recorded by a different act until, you know, you find out in unusual ways. Mm-hmm. And you find out last minute even though you wrote the song.
Yeah.
So that's been my latest project, Living on Sunshine, and Dixie Chaser is the radio single off of it for right now. There may be a couple more released, mm-hmm. but it's out there on stations across America, and we've got radio tours set up for March and April, and I've got a follow-up single that's going to be hopefully coming out pretty soon after that, and everything's looking good for this year.
So, Dixie Chaser, though, is there a background story to that song a little bit?
Well, it's a song that has a lot of poetic license. So, in other words, it doesn't have a lot of real life experience, so to speak. But there are things which I draw upon when I write songs that are real life experiences woven into it. I couldn't just make up everything with it. But there was me and my friend Dan got together. Mm-hmm. As I said before, and Dan says, I got this title called Shot of Dixie. And I was like, I like Shot of Dixie, but I think I'm trying to wrap my head around it and how to really make it hit home and how to make it, you know, come together. And I said, what if it's a shot of Dixie and I'm a Dixie Chaser? And so he said, oh, yeah, I like that. So we rolled with it. You know, I have a Southern accent more than you do. That is. And used to be even more than it is now. After moving to Nashville, it's kind of evened out a little bit more. But it used to be even more pronounced than it is now. And so in that song, it talks about a guy who's gone up to New York City. He's got a Southern accent. And, you know, he's looking for him a Southern belle. He can't, he's not really all that much going crazy about the gals in New York City. So he finds him a Southern belle, and you know she's a shot of Dixie, and he's a Dixie Chaser. And it's got the whole alcohol play on words there. So it's more of a groove-driven song, more of a dancing type song, but it's got it's definitely got a good beat to it. It's got a good storyline to it, and it's cleverly written. So
nice.
That's a little bit background behind that. A lot of it's made up, but some of it's definitely drawn on real life experience.
Well, awesome. I think what we'll do is when we're all done with the interview, we'll throw that out there as well and give people a listen to that one as we're playing it in our rotation here. It's a little something called Dixie Chaser, and we'll play that too and give them a taste of that one and know that they can look forward to that one off your brand new album, Living on Sunshine. Now, is that out? Is the album itself out, or is just the single out right now?
Yeah, it's all out. Living on Sunshine's on iTunes. It's also, if you come to a show, there's CDs with Living on Sunshine. I've got 3 different CDs out. Weightless, Bigger the Wheels, the Better the Man, as we talked about, and Living on Sunshine. Those are the 3 that I have. And, yeah, so they're all out there on the Internet, or if you want to come to a show, I'll be happy to sign CDs, and that's something that I can actually make a memorabilia out of, because I know that CDs these days, it's tough to sell them because they don't put the CDs in cars or laptop devices anymore. CDs are kind of going out. I got a stockpile of them at my house. So yeah.
Oh, nice. So but I mean, I don't think it's as far gone as you might think. I think people still. I mean, I know myself. It's like I like to have the collection of CDs that I like to play and stuff, and I'm not quite as modernized. I guess I don't have the whole download thing going on. So I'm a fan of the CD, for sure. And actually, I mean, I've talked to artists that are actually working on bringing back some vinyl. And people kind of turning the clock back a little bit and liking the sound of vinyl with the little nicks and the ticks and the little scratch and the little sound behind it. I mean, I think that's something that may have been lost for a little while, but it's definitely making a comeback. And I've talked to multiple artists who are all about, we're actually thinking about putting this one out on vinyl. And it's like, whoa, that's awesome. So
yeah. It is. That's very cool. My dad had a record player growing up, and I was around that. I just think that's neat.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Yeah, that's really cool. One other song, I played 2 songs during the interview. We've already played Bigger the Wheels. We'll play Dixie Chaser at the end here to give people a listen to that. And before I get into something else, continuing on your music, I know off your Weightless album, you had a tune out there called Picture Perfect, which I would like to play at the end of the show. But can you give us a little information about that song and what that one was about when you had that one out on your Weightless CD?
Absolutely. So in 2011, I was negotiating a record deal down on Music Row that ended up not working out. But during the time that we were negotiating that record deal, there was a guy from Indiana who was making trips into town. He had been a long time. He had once been in Nashville trying to be an artist himself and all this stuff. So he knew the ropes, and he had experience writing. Well, he and I got together in a studio down on Music Row in that same record label office, and we started tossing out ideas. And Picture Perfect was an idea that I'd had for a while, and I threw it out there to him. He said, "Oh, I like that. Let's go with that." So we started working on it, and it has a few real-life experiences in that song. In the second verse, it talks about locking my keys in my car. It happened with a girl I was dating once. And it was quite craziness. And then it ended up that, let's see, what else was about it? Well, I've dated girls who are 5'2" in height, so that's another one that I took from that. And I did kiss the girl's teeth once when she smiled. So that was another one. But then a lot of the other stuff has just been sort of poetic license and come up with, if you will, such as she didn't get the car open. That was a heroic moment that really didn't happen in my life, but it ended up being a stranger who got the car open for us that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wrote that song, not too much time, maybe an hour and a half. We had that song pretty much wrapped up, and then I took it home, and after I'd looked at the lyrics, I noticed that they didn't make quite enough sense for me, and it wasn't hitting as strong for me in the second verse, so I changed it around a little bit to the kiss being picture perfect in the second verse, whereas before it was just a little disjointed there. So I did a little editing on it myself afterwards, but it was something that what happened next was I played it for my wife. She's my girlfriend at the time. I played it for her, and she said, "Oh, it sounds very commercial. That's cool." And then the time came for the Weightless project, and me and Doug Sizemore of Reba's band were meeting up. I also had management out of the Poconos at that time up there, the same guy I told you about, Gil Coronado with Johnny Riverfest.
Yep.
And so I was visiting Gil, staying at his house, and we were, I think we were just on an event that time. And Gil heard Picture Perfect, and he really liked the rough copy. And he advocated for, that being one of the songs on the EP, which I'm grateful for him, saying that. And then Doug Sizemore as well said Picture Perfect was a definite. So those two agreed on that between management and between producer, and so we ended up recording it. And when it came out in the rough mix from the studio with all the guys that had played on both Reba's albums and people that played on Rascal Flatts albums and just world-class session guys in Nashville, I said to Doug, this song, Picture Perfect, has some magic to it. I've listened to all 5 tracks. I love one in particular, maybe more than the other, but Picture Perfect has some sort of magic with that steel in there, steel guitar. I just love it. And he's like, yeah, it definitely has some magic to it. So when the final mix came out, it was, that much better. And I sent it up to Gil, and Gil said, "Oh my, I just love this song. Can I do a music video for you on this song?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "I would love that, but I can't afford to pay for it. That's the kicker there." And he said, "Well, I don't intend for you to have to pay for it. I'll do it myself." So Gil paid for it, paid for the music video, flew me up to the Poconos, Bird, and we started commencing to. Well, he had actually lined up all the actors and actresses that were in the video. He had a audition call for people to play what we dubbed Caroline, which was the redhead that was Picture Perfect in the song. Mm-hmm. And so they must have gone through 500 actresses or something like that. I think he said something to that effect, that they went through so many people when trying to decide who was going to fill that role. And then he rented out the Shawnee Playhouse, and he rented out the hotel down there. I forget the name of it. You know it. Mm-hmm. And the movie theater. And we shot all those scenes between that, the hotel, and the Playhouse, as well as a Texas Roadhouse restaurant that he had got. He secured about 4 or 5 locations with that video. And it just came out really well, went through a lot of edits. I was there during the editing process with Gil, and we just tried to make it as good as we could on the amount of money that was involved with it and the capital we had to work with, and it turned out to be a fan favorite.
Awesome. So people can also see that on your website. They can watch the video if they want. But at the end of the show, I like to remind everybody about the show and the artist of the day, because that'll be a little bit from now. And my whole show gets recorded and played back on Sunday, so this entire thing will play back on Sunday. And if they missed any of it, I like to remind everybody to catch it again on Sunday if they want to. If they've already missed Bigger Than the Wheels, and if they have already missed Dixie Chaser, Picture Perfect's just my way of throwing another tune of the artist out and reminding everybody to check back in on Sunday to catch the entire interview. But I'll remind them also that they can see it on the YouTube or the BrendanMaddoxMusic.com. If they want to see the video for it, and know that it was shot here locally in Pennsylvania, which is really cool. And kudos to Gil. I mean, awesome that, he was the guy that, took notice that this song was something special, and really, took it as far as he did to get you up here. Now, you mentioned Riverfest. Did you perform here at Riverfest this past summer or in years past?
Yes, in years past I have. 2013 I was involved with Riverfest, and I was there. Got to meet some cool people, and even I'll tell you a quick little thing if it's okay. How much time do we have?
Nope, keep going. You're fine.
Okay. All right. So the first time, here's how Gil and I got involved. So back in 2011-ish, probably, there was a company that found me on Facebook, and we started talking to each other. That company turned out to be just strange. I mean, just very interesting, very strange. They were Scientologists, and it was just very interesting I didn't know any of this, and going in, there was just all kinds of talk about Tom Cruise and football locker rooms and all this stuff. It was just weird. So then, I didn't go with that company. I wanted to explore that option and see what that was, and it turned out to just be, man, I can't do this. I just can't go this weird on this kind of management. So I noticed that one of their friends, while I was checking them out, one of their friends was Gil and was Stila Management. So I saw that they were friends, and I wanted to find out about this other company from Stila and see if they were what he knew about them.
Right.
So I hit up Stila and I said, so what do you know about this other company? He said, well, I don't really know much about them except that we worked on an event together a couple of years ago, and that's about it. I said, oh, okay. And I was kind of relieved that they weren't best friends, and they didn't know each other because this guy had been so interesting and crazy. To put it nicely, So then Gil says, well, by the way, I'd be interested in talking with you. I've got this company called Stila. Are you interested in management? I said,
right.
Yeah, definitely. So he didn't have any pictures on Facebook of himself, so I had no idea what he looked like. He just had his little dog as his Facebook picture, and then bunches of pictures of like flowers and landscapes and all this stuff.
That's Gil.
So, yeah, and that was Gil.
Yeah.
I couldn't find what he looked like anywhere. So we're talking on the phone. I have no idea. I'm trying to visualize what he looks like. He told me a little bit, and so I had a rough idea.
Short little dude.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I know that he wants to meet with me and wants to talk about this face-to-face. And so he's willing to fly me up to New York City to meet him in New York City.
Wow.
So I'm like, I've never been to New York City at this point. And I don't know. I know it's a huge city, and I know you can get lost real easily up there. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Should I do this or should I not do this? Well, I had this girl who I was seeing at the time who lived in Massachusetts, and so what transpired was she said, "Why don't we meet in New York City, and we can use this as sort of a way for, even if this guy is a bust on the management side, we can at least get to see each other, and you won't have to come all the way to Massachusetts, and you've got this lined up anyway. Kill two birds with one stone."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that's definitely an idea. And she was so in favor of it because she wanted to meet me that she purchased the hotel room. So she bought a hotel room. It wasn't, an elaborate hotel, but it was still nice enough, and it was in Times Square area of New York.
Wow.
That's where we were going to be meeting Gil. So she buys this hotel for a week or something, or for 2 or 3 days, maybe not a week, half a week. And we get up there and we meet at it, and, we have a great time going around New York City. Then comes the time to meet Gil, and we're supposed to meet down at like 48th Street or 48th Avenue or something.
Yep.
Something. at this record shop, and of course, I have no idea what he looks like. He just says, "Meet me at the record shop on 48th, and here's the address." So we start walking blocks and blocks down there from Times Square, and have no idea how far it's going to be, but we don't want to spend any more money on taxi cabs or anything to have to get us there, so we're on a budget. We're walking it. So we get all the way down there, and the short little guy comes up, there was history in the making, and we had an in-store with all the artists from Stila Management, or ones that were thinking about joining Stila, and that's where it all began with Gil. So it was just funny how that happened, and the risks that were taken with that.
Do you think you'd ever come back and do another Riverfest or do any kind of shows at all? I mean, I see you're touring a lot, between Illinois and down south, but ever thinking of heading back to PA here?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely thinking about coming back to PA. I'm going to be heading to Boston this summer for sure. That's going to be worked on. But I definitely want to get up there to Pennsylvania. I've got a whole list of places I want to go in the eastern half of the country this year.
Wow, that includes us.
That includes you. And we're just putting together the different things between me and my team and the radio single. And, Illinois is really an easy place that has happened for me to be able to get shows in. So I've got all that going on there, and down south some for the radio tour.
Right.
And all that. But I intend to come back there, yeah.
Well, that would so... I mean, I don't know if your connection would be Big Gil or just stay in touch with me directly, but we're literally an hour or so south of Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and an hour and a half north of Philly. We're right smack dab in the middle of those two. Riverfest isn't that far. As a matter of fact, Gil comes here every time, brings a couple of his talent, and we have him in the studios here, and we have cameras in the studio, so it kind of goes out on live stream and on a TV channel and stuff. And Gil's always here. A couple times throughout the year. So the invitation stands for all my artists, especially, someone who would be in your position who actually would have the opportunity to come here. So just so put us in the line, put us in the lineup, and we'd love to have you here. Just let me know when you're coming, and we'll have you in the studio live here.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'll connect with Gil most likely, because he's been on me to try to do that every year.
Yeah.
August again, is that August time frame when that occurs?
Yep.
Riverfest?
I think so.
Okay. Well, then I'll make a note to, start getting that together, because Gil's probably going to be shortly, next couple of months, looking to put that together. And
yeah.
So I will definitely reach out to him about that, and
yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, just come down with Gil, if you're hanging out with him. And he makes an appearance here usually at least twice before Riverfest happens, because we give some tickets away for it. And he tells us all about the talent that's coming and things like that. So it would be great to have you swing by and, do a little bit more promotion on your new album and the music that you're getting out there. And by then you said you might have another single that's out there, so we can get that one out there in rotation and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we're here for, man. So we'd love it. We'd love to make that connection. And I'll reach out to Gil too. I have to talk to him about something actually anyway. So that'd be pretty cool. But Brandon, I mean, it sounds like you've got a great plan of what you have going on. You're going to get out. You're going to get your music out. You're doing on tour. Now, again, most people can connect with you. Are you on Facebook and the social medias? Is that some place that people can reach out to you and ask you questions and stuff like that?
Yes, anytime. It's facebook.com/Brandon Maddox Music, BRANDON, Maddox, MADDOX Music. And then at BMAD Music, Twitter and Instagram. So BMAD Music on Twitter and Instagram. And then there's, I want to say there's another one, but I may be wrong about that. I think I might have a Snapchat, but I don't know. I don't ever look at it. I think I might have gotten it when somebody urged me to get a Snapchat, and I was like, okay, I'll get one of those things, but it's just an extra social media thing to have to keep up with, and I don't really do that. I do it sometimes. I do it out of necessity, but it's just one of those necessities in the music business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Facebook and Twitter are probably two of the better social medias as far as staying in touch with your fan base and getting out there a little bit more other than your website. You know, it goes right to their phone, where you're going to be, what you've got going on, and things along that line. Do people use the social medias to communicate with you on things like that? You know, like, hey, you know, I heard this song and I really like it. This is, you know, that kind of thing?
Yes, yeah, all the time. I'm constantly communicating with my fans through social media. I check Facebook a lot. I check Twitter a lot. Between those two, I check those, you know, within, like, on the hour.
Yeah.
Every hour I'm checking that stuff.
Well, I just liked your Facebook page, so you'll see that on there. And it's also a nice way for us to communicate, you know. It's like, hey, you're going to be in the area, da-da-da-da. That's what I like about it. You know, you can communicate with people from all over the world, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's so good to be able to do that. I talk to guys from Canada who are artists, Texas who are artists.
Yep.
Try to work with those other acts out of the country and write with them and everything like that. So,
yep.
But it's great. And this summer, too, I'm going to be hitting the stage before Blake Shelton at Country USA in Oshkosh.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty neat. And
big news.
A lot of great. I don't know how this summer is going to unfold. There's a lot of ifs, you know, with everything, but it looks like it's going to be much better than last year even was, as far as the way things are, the amount of good things that are going to happen.
That's awesome.
I hope everybody can just stay in touch
Well,
with me.
it's a great, you know, and people will find you. They can find you on Facebook, BrandonMaddoxMusic.com on your website to find out where you are and get their hands on your music and things along that line. Sounds like you got an exciting 2017, you know, kind of taking shape and taking form. It's early in the year still, so you've still got a long ways to fill every nook and cranny of it and make the best of it. But we'll do our best here to get your music out there and give you some airplay. And you know, like I said before, the doors to the station are always open. Or, you know, even if it's one of those things where a couple months down the line you want to make a nice announcement or something big or, you know, whatever, hey, feel free always to let me know. We'll get you back on the schedule. And a lot of my artists come back 2, 3, 4 times. It doesn't matter. We'll get you on the schedule and get you everybody updated on what's going on with Brandon Maddox in the world of Brandon Maddox. That'd be awesome.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that when I have something new to share.
Well, that'd be cool. And so, you know, before I cut you loose, I don't want to hold you too much longer. But I know, you know, you got the announcement that you just kind of made with Blake Shelton, but do you got a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge of something that people can really be searching your webpage for and keeping an eye open for? Something for 2007, maybe a little bit further down the line that you want to give a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge for?
Yeah, for 2017, there's I'm going to be part of CRS, which is Country Radio Seminar. That's going to be taking place in Nashville. And so we'll have some video from that, most likely, some things that are going on from that. So be checking the Facebook page.
Awesome.
Also, sometimes we put up a short video on Instagram, too, of any performances that we have going on. So I'll be performing with a band called Two Way Crossing and some other people that are kind of up-and-comers. I've been hearing a lot about Two Way Crossing myself through different people I write with. But they're kind of below the radar, you know, from the main people who are out there. But they're still getting their name out there. So I'm going to be playing that coming up, where all the country radio programmers, they come to Nashville and they decide the format for the rest of the year on country radio. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. Also, there's some. I've got a PR team that is going to be out there heavily promoting shows in the towns, and there's just a lot going on. That I'm probably going to be playing most likely Gillette Stadium up in the Northeast.
Cool.
In June, a benefit concert. It's to help it's got something to do with cancer and childhood cancer, because my wife is a childhood cancer survivor. Wow. She beat leukemia as a 10-year-old kid. She's been 20 years cancer-free as of November 11th. And so we try to travel around and give back by going to Ronald McDonald houses when we go out of town and we tour.
Oh, that's cool.
And play for the kids there.
That's cool. Music is a healer. I've said that forever. I mean, even if it's just an escape for 10, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes that's really what it takes, just to put a smile on someone's face who's feeling like crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's good to see these kids brighten up when they get to listen to some music, and that may be the only thing that brightens their day up is the music.
Right.
Not anything somebody could say to them, but just the music itself.
Yep.
And then one other thing that we're looking at is a song in another movie. I've had songs in 2 movies in the past. One in a movie called Unconditional, which starred Michael Ealy in 2012.
Okay.
And then another which was in 2015 called Providence. And then this year, they say that this new movie called Chasing After Wind is going to be coming out in 2017. It's an independent film, and it's got one of my songs called When I'm Weak, I'm Strong is going to be in the movie once it comes out. It's just depending on when the movie comes out. So,
wow.
Yeah, just be on the lookout. I'll be posting things on the Facebook page regarding that with that third movie song. And, and then, if anybody sees that I have some shows in the area, there's another website you guys can track me down at, which is bandsintown.com/Brandon Maddox.
Okay.
So on that, you can track any shows I have coming up, and would love to see you at the live show. Would love to see everybody that can come to the live show. That'd be awesome.
All right, there you go. So lots of ways to reach out to this guy. You got some great music out there. You got the Waitlist CD. You got Behind the Wheels CD, which got some great music on. Your most recent one, Living on Sunshine, which has got your single out there, Dixie Chaser. You got some more, possible another single coming out for that one a little bit later on in the year. You got movie music coming out. You got more videos. You're just a busy guy. You're a busy guy. You're on fire. You got a lot of things going on. It sounds like 2017 is going to be filled with lots of great surprises for your fans.
Definitely. I'm excited. It's going to be a good year.
Well, it sure does sound that way for you, Brandon. And, we wish you the best in everything you have going on for sure. So glad we got the connection, through Gil and had the opportunity to get you on the show here today. And again, just a reminder, people, check out the websites that you mentioned, find you on Facebook, friend you, keep an eye on where you're going to be heading, go out to the live shows, get your hands on those CDs at the live shows. That is a nice... not even a collector's item, but just something you pop, there's cars still with CDs. My car has a CD player, so, it's pretty darn awesome. If you want to send us a couple of CDs here at the station, we'll be glad to hand them out to people here in PA who'd be more than happy to have them. Like I said, I like to keep a personal collection of mine. So, hey, stay in touch with this guy. And it sounds like he's got some big and exciting things going on. And keep an eye on his website. And hey, I really like to hopefully, hook up with you, connect with you this summer. We'd love to have you in the studios as well. But safe travels, man. And man, you're knocking the socks off 2017 already with basically a month in. And it sounds like it's going to be a good year for you. We wish you the best, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Casey, and we look forward to connecting with you. I'll get you some CDs when I come up to Shawnee.
Okay.
Hoping to get that going on for this year.
That would be great.
If we can make it work, we'll make it work.
All right. That sounds like a fine plan. Good luck with everything, sir. Good luck with your radio tour, with your Living on Sunshine CD and the singles that you're going to be presenting to your fan base off of that, and everything else you have going on. I mean, my goodness, stay safe in your travels, though, but have a good time while you're doing it. And again, talk to you soon. Stay in touch. Let me know what's going on.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, sir. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.